Hey guys, welcome to a recap of the NFL Week 9. Week 9, as I said, going into the week, I thought was the hardest week by far this season. Just weren't a lot of games to like. You had a lot of just bad teams matching up against each other, and you had a lot of spreads that were, road chalk at 3 in the hook. So really hard to take some of those road teams as 3 in the hook. But on the flip side, it was hard to take some of those home teams simply because they just weren't good. So to be a home team that's a dog by 3.5 against an already bad team, kind of showed you how bad those teams were. So hard to go on either side of those games. And then you mix in the fact that we had 6 buys or 6 teams on bye. You just have slim pickings to choose from. So, the great thing about sport betting is that you can pass on games, right? It's not like playing a hand of blackjack where you have to put money in to see the hand. If you don't like it, you can simply just pass on it. But unfortunately, you can't pass on every single game unless you just don't want to bet the week. So slim pickings, you try to choose. It was tough enough to choose, 3-4 games, let alone 5 or 6. So it was a week where I ended up doing 4 plays and 2 and 2 on the plays. I know I gave out the 3 on here. I had Minnesota minus 1.5, so had the good number there, and we were able to get that one. But if you had minus 3, you had a push. If you had 3 in the hook, you would have lost. So I was able to get that one. And then we had I took Arizona, that lost outright, and then the Raiders, which is one of my favorite picks, who blew a 17-point lead for the 3rd time this year. The Raiders had at least a 17-point lead. They blew it against Jacksonville. They blew one earlier in the year against Arizona, and then the Kansas City game as well. And then I ended up taking the Bears plus 3.5 against Miami, and they were able to cover. So 2-2 week. Not a great week, but these weeks are going to happen. It's been a pretty good year so far, so you're going to have losing weeks. You're going to have sometimes a losing month. That's just inevitable, going to happen. So we just turn the page and look towards week 10 now. Hopefully a much better week. Like I said, week 9 just was a challenging week. You look at the games, again, if you had Minnesota, depending on the number you got, you might have gotten that one wrong. The Chargers, 3.5, either a push or a loss there. Even the Chiefs, was a grinded out win for them. They didn't cover. If you like Green Bay, they lost outright. The Bills lost outright. So just some crazy games, really. There were some. The Jets game obviously was the biggest upset, but just not a. It was a tough week overall. So week 10, looking at the games quickly. There's definitely some that I like right off the bat. Chicago is one that sticks out to me against the Lions. I think I actually feel really good about Chicago. If you're still alive in a survivor pool, I would honestly take Chicago this week against Detroit, which is pretty crazy. But other than that, I'll put out another video in the next few days for week 10. But week 9, hopefully you guys did okay. Again, not a great week, but we'll look to turn it up in week 10, and we'll talk in a few days. See ya.